Hello, everybody, and welcome to our annual employer workshop. My name is Regina Cruz, and I'm a supervisor here in Riverside County. This workshop is brought to you by the Southern Inland Regional Collaboration. The SIRC, for short, is made up of 4 counties: Kern, Imperial Valley, San Bernardino, and Riverside. The SIRC's mission statement is to work together to ensure that we're meeting all the needs for the community. And this is where it's starting right here for you, the employer. We want to make sure that you get all the information you need. Are you ready? Let's go over some housekeeping information. Now, please mute and no cameras. Then next, questions. We want to hear from you. So if you have any questions throughout the workshop, we want you to put that in the chat. And throughout the presentations, we are going to be answering them live here at our presentations. Next, you got to need some information, right? So if you're able to go on the SIRC website, there's a virtual binder right there in the upper right-hand corner. If you click on that, you'll have all the information that you need at your fingertips. So no cameras, mute, questions, yes. Let's take a look at the agenda. We have a lot of great information for you today, from an intro to child support to updating employer information and following it up with a Q&A from our panel and you with your questions. Today, we are very fortunate to have a live panel of experts to answer your questions. Now, let's say good morning to the panel and introduce yourself, please. Panel?
Hi, my name is Megan Martin.
Good morning, my name is Angela Jones, and I'm the Employer Outreach Coordinator at California Child Support Services.
Panel, are you ready?
We're ready.
We're ready.
All right. So let's get started with Silverio Cortez Ruiz. He is going to provide us with the intro to child support. Here is Silverio.
Thank you and welcome to the 2023 Southern Inland Region Child Support Collaborative Employer Workshop. My name is Silverio Cortez, and I am a child support specialist with the Department of Child Support Services, San Bernardino County. Today, I will be introducing you to the child support process. I will begin by discussing how the Department of Child Support Services opens cases. Then I will discuss the services offered and not offered by our local child support agency, referred to as an LCSA. I will also discuss withholding priority as well as confidentiality. I will highlight some of the differences between private cases and cases managed by your LCSA. I will then wrap things up by discussing your role in the process and the impact it has on our communities. So how does the Department of Child Support Services open cases? We receive referrals one of 4 ways. We receive a referral from the Department of Social Services for dependents receiving CalWorks. We also receive referrals when dependents are placed in foster care. The third method is a direct application submitted by the person receiving support or the person paying support. The fourth and final source for opening a case is a referral from another child support agency, such as a different state or another country. Now that we have discussed how cases are opened, let's transition to the services offered and not offered by your local child support agency or LCSA. So services offered. We can offer locate services, we can establish parentage, establish an order, enforce court orders. We can also modify existing child support orders and enforce and collect any arrears-only cases. I do want to mention that depending on the referral source, our customers can choose how involved or uninvolved our department will be. For example, a parent can request that we establish parentage and then close his or her case. A customer can request that we establish a child support order and then close their child support case and enforce the order between the 2 parents. Services not offered. We do not offer services in divorce, custody, visitation, restraining orders, establishing spousal support orders. Withholding priority. The withholding priority is as follows. Current child support and family support will be withheld first, then medical support, then current spousal support, then child and family support arrears, and finally spousal support arrears. Note, current support always takes priority over other deductions. Confidentiality. There are 2 important parts to keep in mind as it pertains to confidentiality. The first is LCSA case records are confidential. The second part is LCSA can only discuss the obligation and the employer's ability to collect payment. Now let's discuss the differences between cases managed by LCSA and privately managed cases. Cases managed by a child support agency are called 4D cases. Income withholding orders are issued by the child support agency and do not require a judge's signature. Cases not managed by a child support agency are referred to as non-4D cases. With non-4D cases, the employer will be served by a private party, the person paying or receiving support, or a representative of either party. Employer responsibilities. Now let's discuss your role in the child support process. Whether a case is managed by an LCSA or privately, the employer's responsibility is the same. However, since non-4D cases are not in the child support system, the California State Disbursement Unit may need some additional information, such as the employee's social security number or court case number. An employer may receive an income withholding order from another state or a California LCSA. So how employers help their communities by complying with child support withholding. Employers assist by deducting for child support and medical support, enrolling dependents, children in health insurance and increasing access to preventative health, saving taxpayers' dollars, preventing and reducing fraud, promoting a stable and reliable workforce, encouraging a future of skilled workers, and improving financial stability for families. As employers, you are one of our closest partners, with an important role as helping ensure families get financial and medical support they need. More than 70% of all child support collections are through payroll deductions, which means more money for families. Here's the information for the counties in the Southern Inland Region Child Support Collaborative. For Kern County, we have a Bakersfield and Ridgecrest office. For Riverside County, we have offices in Blythe, Indio, and Riverside. Imperial County, we have an office in El Centro. And San Bernardino County has offices in Loma Linda, Ontario, and Victorville. Thank you for your time.
What a great start. And thank you, Silverio, for that information. Now we're going to hear from Herbat Rashidi, Riverside attorney. He's going to be talking on income withholding order requirements. Herbat?
Hello, my name is Herbat Rashidi. I'm an attorney with Riverside County Department of Child Support Services. We're going to cover income withholding requirements in the context of child support primarily. Income withholding orders are generally court orders, but in the context of our office, they're issued administratively and they're served on employers that requires them to withhold a specific amount of an employee's wages for payment of child and medical support. They're also called wage assignments, garnishment orders, and income withholding orders. Employers may be served with an income withholding order by the local child support agency, by a private party or their attorneys, or by another state's child support agency. They're the most effective method of collecting child support. In California, wage withholding counts for more than 66% of the amounts that we collect. Our obligations are that we get an income withholding order in every case. We obtain them in every case with a support order, and we serve it on the employer within 15 days of entry of support order, or when employee changes employment and the employer's address is obtained. A sample copy of it is to the right of your screen. Top part will have the general information about the employer, and the bottom part will say what the order is, whether it's for child support, medical reimbursement, or arrears or spousal support. And at the bottom, it even breaks it down for you further, telling you exactly what to withhold depending on how you pay the employee. Employee gets paid weekly. We break it down and tell you how much to take out, and so forth and so on. The income withholding order is effective and binding upon any existing or future employer of the person paying support, may be transferred by electronic means, issued by another state's court or administrative agency, and is as binding on the employer as if it was made by a California court. The out-of-state orders, you would comply with them as if they were a California order. Failure to comply carries the same penalties we're going to discuss below. As long as you're complying with the income withholding order, you have immunity from civil liability. To contest, you have to register in this state and challenge in court. Within 10 days of receiving an income withholding order, the employer will need to notify the employee and provide the employee with a copy of the income withholding order, request for hearing regarding earning assignment, copy of the statement of the employee's right to quash, modify, or stay service of the order, blank form with instructions for the employee to file for relief within 10 calendar days after service of the income withholding order. This is all in the packet that we sent to you. The employer should begin withholding the support amount no later than first pay period after 10 days after receiving the income withholding order. Deduct support amount from the employee's net disposable income. Deduction is not to exceed 50% of the net disposable income, even if the support does. The employer must remit the payment to the state disbursement unit no later than 10 days after close of pay period until served with a notice modifying or terminating the amount is to be withheld. Employer responsibilities also include providing us with information, verification of employment, full name of employee, last known residence, address of employee, date of birth, social security number, dates of employment, past and present earnings, availability of health insurance coverage. These things that we seek from the employer will come to you via one of two forms generally, and one of them is a wage and insurance verification form. Request information concerning the employee, signed under penalty of perjury by employer, used as evidence in court, avoids the need for a subpoena. The employee status report, similar to page 4 of the income withholding order, you would inform us on or before the next payment due date, the new employer's address, if known, employment status, employee's last known residence address, employee's last known telephone number. Employers shall not do the following based on the existence of an income withholding order: refuse to hire, discriminate, discipline, terminate. This is both in the Family Code and the Labor Code. Priority of withholding: if the employer has been served with multiple garnishment orders, child support orders take priority, then bankruptcy, federal administrative garnishment, federal tax levy, student loan, state tax levy, local tax levy, creditor garnishment, employer deductions. If the tax levy was received prior to child support, then they may have priority. We would ask you to check with your own legal. If there's a dispute, you can always call our office and we can try and resolve that dispute with the particular agency. And then child support gets paid before all other creditors. Applying the withholding: current child support, family support get paid first, then medical support if on the income withholding order, current spousal support, child family support, arrears, spousal support, arrears. So once the money comes in, that's how they're applied. Remitting payments: provide the following information for each employee: name as it appears on the notice to withhold, social security number, legal date of collection, case or court order number. Payments for multiple employees may be combined into one check, but you must provide an itemized accounting for each employee. Calculating net disposable income: take the gross earnings and only take out the mandatory deductions. So state and federal taxes, state disability insurance if there is any, mandatory union dues, mandatory retirement, does not include 401k, does not include other voluntary deductions such as advances or anything like that. What are earnings? Earnings are anything that the employee will get for doing the work that they're doing. So payments to independent contractors, salary, of course, bonuses, residuals, dividends, overtime, royalties, retirement, vacation pay, commissions. These are all earnings and count. Penalties for non-compliance: employers who fail to withhold and forward support is liable to the child support agency for the amount of support not withheld, forwarded, or paid, including interest. Employee for amounts withheld and not forwarded, failure to comply is punishable by contempt. Employer can be sued for conversion if they took out the money but just kept it, didn't forward it to our office. And employers can be charged criminally for theft or embezzlement if they did the same thing, withheld the money but did not forward it to the child support agency or the state disbursement unit. Electronic fund transfer: this is one of those things that's the last straw. In rare cases where there's been multiple occasions of non-compliance, DCSS may seek an order requiring payment of support by electronic transfer from the employer's bank account if certain conditions are met. The employer willfully fails to comply with the notice to withhold, fails to comply on 3 separate occasions within a 12-month period, and civil penalties can be up to 50% of the support amount. There are employer questions that we cannot answer to the employer. These include, why is the support order so high? How do you expect this person to live? Can we work out a better payment plan? This is because our cases are confidential. Employers can only get information to comply with the income withholding order. Our office can only discuss a case as it relates to the employer's ability and or obligation to process the income withholding order. We encourage the employee to contact our office directly. Thank you for your time and all your cooperation with our office. We can't do this without you, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Herbad, for that information. Now, let's go to a question. Panel, are you ready for a question? Take it away.
Sure. Hey, Angela, where can they find the slideshow or the PowerPoint for this presentation?
Thank you, Megan. That's a great question. You can actually locate the PowerPoint on southerninlandregion.com and select the resource binder link. Great question. I'm going to turn it back over to Regina.
Yeah, keep those questions coming. Next up, we have Angela Jones, hey, part of the panel, all the way from California State DCSS. She is going to go over electronic income withholding orders, or EIWOs. Let's welcome Angela.
Hello, my name is Angela Jones, and I'm the Employer Outreach Coordinator with California Child Support Services. In this section, I'm going to cover the Electronic Income Withholding Order, or EIWO process. I will go over how you can register for the EIWO process, as well as the different options that are available to you. Then we will take a look at the different acknowledgments that you will receive with the Electronic Income Withholding Order. And lastly, I will share with you some resources that are available to help ease the process and provide some additional information. When you enroll in the Electronic Income Withholding Order process, employers will be able to receive the Income Withholding Order, or IWO, electronically, as well as have the ability to notify the child support agencies if your employee has been terminated, and provide the new employer's name and address, and notify the child support agency if your employee will be receiving a bonus or a lump sum payment.
I think
there are several benefits when enrolling in the Electronic Income Withholding Order process. Child support will get to that family sooner. It will save you time, money, and resources. Each of the income withholding orders will have a uniform look and feel. This will also increase the accuracy and reliability of the data. There is also no cost to employers when you enroll. This will help reduce employers that receive multiple income withholding orders, and you only have to enroll in the Electronic Income Withholding Order process one time, and you will begin receiving all of your income withholding orders electronically. The registration includes an agreement to process electronic income withholding orders. To register, the employer will accept the agreement and complete the Federal Employer Identification Number, or FEIN spreadsheet, if your company has multiple Federal Employer Identification Numbers. The diagram provided here illustrates the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement's Electronic Income Withholding Order, or EIWO process. This will be extremely helpful for your IT personnel because it shows how that electronic income withholding order is sent to the employer from the child support agencies and batched for each employer. Each batch will be sent to each employer, and then the employer will be able to respond to the acknowledgments, and then those batches will be sent back to the respective states. Please share this diagram with your IT personnel. There are 2 options for employers to choose to implement. First, the system-to-system interface requires the employer's IT resources for programming, but this is the best option for employers that receive a high volume of income withholding orders. The second is the no programming option. Employers will be provided with a PDF copy of that income withholding order, and this is optimal for employers that have a low volume of income withholding orders, but some of the benefits of the no programming option is that it is a simple implementation. For employers looking to have the system-to-system option, the estimated time to implement this is 3 to 5 months of IT resources. The no programming option provides employers with 2 choices to meet their needs. Option 1, the employer will receive the income withholding order as a PDF, and the acknowledgement will also be a PDF. This is optimal for large employers with approximately 600 or more employees. The second no programming option is best suited for small or medium-sized employers. Option 2 will still allow employers to receive the income withholding order as a PDF, but the acknowledgement will be sent to the employer using Excel. This is the PDF acknowledgement. The top portion of the income withholding order acknowledgement will state if it is an original income withholding order, an amended income withholding order, a one-time lump sum payment income withholding order, or a termination of the income withholding order. Each PDF acknowledgement will include your employee's case identifier, the employee's last name, first name, middle name, as well as their social security number and your company's federal employer identification number. In the income withholding order disposition status section, this is where you can accept or reject the income withholding order and select the disposition reason code. The second sample shown here is the Excel acknowledgement. Column B will include the type of income withholding order, if it's an original income withholding order, an amended income withholding order, a one-time lump sum income withholding order, or a termination of the income withholding order. Each Excel acknowledgement will include the employee's case identifier, as well as the employee's first name, last name, middle name, and your employee's social security number, as well as your company's federal employer identification number. Column K on the Excel acknowledgement, this is where you are able to accept or reject the income withholding order and include the disposition reason code in column L. This is an example of the employer-initiated acknowledgement. This form is used for the employer to report a one-time lump sum payment or a termination of employment. If the employer is reporting a one-time lump sum payment, provide the following information: the lump sum date, as well as the lump sum amount and the type of lump sum that your employee is going to be receiving. If the employer is reporting a termination of employment, provide the following information: the termination date, as well as the employee's last known phone number and last known home address. And then we also need to know the date that final payment will be remitted to the state disbursement unit, including the final amount. And at the bottom of this form, please provide the new employer's name and address. This is going to be very helpful for the child support agency when the income withholding order needs to be forwarded to that new employer. Each day, the child support agency will receive an email that includes the processing summary that's provided on the left-hand side of this slide. The right-hand side of the slide has a sample of the file that is sent to the employer daily. The next steps when preparing for the electronic income withholding order include completing the profile form and the federal employer identification number spreadsheet, followed by setting up connectivity. Then the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement will conduct a test, and the employer will begin receiving the electronic income withholding orders electronically. The electronic income withholding order resource provided here offers some helpful information on the EIWO registration process and information on both of the options that we discussed today, the system-to-system option and the no programming option. And this is available on the Federal Office of Child Support Services public website at the web address provided here. The EIWO team, I've provided their email address also on this slide. When you are ready to enroll, please reach out to the EIWO team at the email address provided here. It will be helpful to share with them which option you are interested in enrolling in, and they will assist you sending the test files until you go live and begin receiving those income withholding orders electronically. On behalf of the state, I would like to thank you for each of your important role that you play in sustaining the child support program. You are one of the department's most critical partners, and I hope that this virtual workshop is providing you with a better understanding of your value to the child support program. Thank you.
That was so informative. Thank you, Angela. Next up is Tiana Mitchell. She is a Community Development Program Specialist from Kern County. Tiana will be discussing the topic of bonus and lump sum income withholding orders. Ms. Mitchell, take it away.
Hello, my name is Tiana Mitchell with Kern County Child Support Services, and I am the Program Specialist for Community Development. Today we'll be going over bonus or lump sum income withholding order. What is a lump sum payment? A bonus lump sum payment made to an employee is considered income and can be garnished to collect past due child support arrears. One-time payment made to an employee from their vacation payout, cash awards, or bonuses. What is considered a bonus or lump sum payment? Severance, vacation payouts, insurance settlements, retirement incentives, stock options, lottery winnings are all considered bonus or lump sum payments. including awards, payments from verdicts, workers' compensation, retroactive pay increases, sign-on bonuses, and commissions. All employers served with an employee withholding order are required by California SC Section 17512 to comply. Report all earnings as defined by SC Section 5206. This means employers are required to report bonus lump sum income. Reporting bonuses and lump sum. Employers are encouraged to report any bonus or lump sum payment prior to payout by contacting California Child Support Services by fax, email, EIWO, or USPS. Report by phone or email prior to payout by contacting the California Child Support Services at the link shown, or by calling 916-464-6640. They can contact the Federal Office of Child Support Services website using the link shown. The maximum withholding is 50% of the net disposable earning under California Code of Civil Procedure Section 706052A. Note, payments to an independent contractor are subject to maximum 50% net disposable earnings withholding limit, FC 5206. Employers can enroll through the Federal Office of Child Support Services, reporting lump sum resources, or through the Child Support portal using the link shown. Where would I find the state's reporting requirements? Employers can quickly report upcoming lump sum payments to employees using the online bonus lump sum application on the Child Support portal. Office of Child Support Enforcement website is listed below and offers the following contact information. You can contact Meredith Ford, or you can email the lump sum response team. For enforcement, you can address any information to the following addresses listed below. Thank you so much.
That was some interesting stuff. Thank you. Now let's take a 10-minute break. During the break, we will be showing you some stats of all of our counties that are involved. If you missed it at the beginning, you're going to see them now. See you back in 10. Welcome back from your break. We're going to just dive right into a question that we received. So panel, are you ready for a question? Take it away.
Thank you, Regina. So we do have a question. I have an employee that received a garnishment of wages. The amount taken from their check is different from the amount on the paperwork they received to our company's HR department. What should our HR department do? Megan, did you want to take this question?
Sure. You can either contact the local office, your local child support agency, or you can give us a call at 866-901-3212. Thank you. Regina?
Thanks for that answer. Yes, always stay in contact with us if you ever have questions. Phone numbers, calling us, that's a great start. Now, we're going to hear from Megan Martin, the Special Programs Coordinator and Ombuds for Imperial Valley. She will be going over National Medical Support Notice. We've seen her on our panel. Let's see her in the presentation. Let's welcome Megan.
Before I begin, I would like to thank everyone for being here. My name is Megan Martin, and I'm the Special Programs Coordinator / Ombudsman for the Imperial County Child Support, and I will be discussing the National Medical Support Notice portion of our presentation. What is medical support? Form of child support that requires one or both parents to provide healthcare coverage under a parent's policy or cash medical support, provide health insurance if available through an employer, pay premiums for private healthcare coverage or reimburse a parent for all or a portion of the cost of health insurance, court-ordered dependent health insurance coverage, pay additional amounts to cover a portion of ongoing medical bills or as reimbursement for uninsured medical costs. What constitutes as health insurance? Medical, dental, vision, mental health, prescription drugs, and this can be a combined or separate policies or plans. Legal obligation. State law requires that healthcare coverage be provided under a medical support order, even if the child is born to unmarried parents, is not claimed as a dependent for tax purposes, does not reside with the parent or the insurer's service area. All local child support agencies in California are required to include provisions for healthcare coverage in their child support guidelines. Enrollment. Group health insurance plan is required if your company maintains or contributes to plans providing dependent or family health care coverage. If your employee is among a class of employees that is eligible for family health coverage after the waiting or probationary period has been satisfied, if coverage is available at a reasonable cost. Legislation update. California laws, reasonable cost and accessibility. Cost is presumed reasonable in California if the difference between self-only and family coverage does not exceed 5% of the employee's gross income. Reasonable cost will be determined by the LCSA. If the person paying support thinks the coverage is too expensive, they can contact our office for review. Accessibility of health insurance definition. Within 50 miles of the supported dependent's residence. For example, if a child lives in California and the person paying support lives in Florida, health insurance may not be accessible to the child. Reasonable cost. The burden of proof is on the employee to dispute reasonable cost. The LCSA will use the following equation to calculate reasonable cost. The cost of family coverage minus the self-only coverage equals 5% or less of the person paying support's gross income. For example, family coverage is $500 per month and self-only coverage is $300 per month. The difference of $200 cannot exceed 5% of the person paying support's gross income. Note, the employer must still comply with the NIMSIN regardless of whether an objection has been made or not until a determination has been made. States determine what is a reasonable cost for medical insurance, and employers can find that information on the medical support requirements matrix. Employer responsibilities. The employer shall allow the employee to enroll their dependent without regard to open enrollment restrictions, deduct costs of health insurance coverage in addition to the child support amount, provide coverage to the employee's children even if the employee declines their own personal health coverage. They're to provide the LCSA within 30 days, the employee's social security number, home address, name of the insurance company, policy number, and names of person covered. They must notify the LCSA when there is a lapse in coverage, the date the coverage ended, the reason for the lapse, and when coverage is expected to resume. The employer should refrain from denying enrollment when the child was not claimed as a dependent on the employee's tax return, does not reside with the employee, does not live within the service area, was born out of wedlock, refused to hire, discriminate, or terminate coverage for a child unless health insurance coverage has been eliminated for all employees, or receive evidence that the order has terminated from the LCSA or the courts. The National Medical Support Notice consists of two parts. Part A, the notice to withhold for health coverage, is shown here on the right. Part B, the medical support notice to plan administrator, is shown here also to the right. The NIMSIN timeframes. Within 10 business days, the employer must notify the employee and provide them with the following 4 forms. Copy of NIMSIN Part A, Statement of Obligor's Rights and Procedures Regarding NIMSIN, Information Sheet, Request and Notice of Hearing. Within 20 days, the employer must notify the employee and provide them with the following 4 forms. Copy of NIMSIN Part A, Statement of Obligor's Rights and Procedures Regarding NIMSIN, Information Sheet, Request and Notice of Hearing. Employer must enroll the employee's children to a health care plan and return the health insurance information to the LCSA. Within 40 business days, the employer must provide the LCSA with description of the coverage available and of any forms required to activate coverage, including termination and lapse in coverage. Within 10 business days, the employer must notify the LCSA office any lapse of coverage. Within 20 business days, notify the LCSA of termination of benefits or termination of employment. Return the termination of benefits employer notice, and that form is DCSS 0114. Points to consider. When the employee's dependents have been enrolled in your group health insurance plan, the LCSA is required to notify the person receiving support in writing. The LCSA will provide the person receiving support the dependent's health insurance cards once received from the employer. If the insurance cards are not immediately available, please provide them to our office when received. The information you provide makes a huge difference in managing the health care for the dependents you enroll. DCSS does not copy your form and send it to the person receiving support. Our office writes a letter to the person receiving support, providing them with the information you provide. Penalty for noncompliance. Failure to comply is punishable by contempt. An employer who willfully fails to comply with the NIMSIN is liable to the person receiving support for the amount incurred in healthcare costs. If you need more information or have any questions, you can always reach out to the California Program and Policy Branch at the information listed on this slide. There is also a link for the employer forms you will need. Thank you.
Okay, just a reminder, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. We will have plenty of time to answer all of your questions during and after the presentation. To talk about reporting new hires and independent contractors to EDD, here is Michelle Tannenpai, a child support specialist from Riverside County. Michelle?
Hi everyone, Michelle Tannenpai, Child Support Specialist with the County of Riverside. I'll be presenting to you reporting new hires and independent contractors to the Employment Development Department. New hire reporting requirements. Report new hires and rehires within 20 days of their start of work date to the Employment Development Department. Rehired employees are those that have separated for at least 60 consecutive days and returned to your employment. Report independent contractors within 20 days of contracting if all of the following apply. A Form 1099 for services is provided, $600 or more is paid, or you enter into a contract for $600 or more. Why is this all important? To assist in locating parents who owe support. It increases child support collections, reduces welfare costs, and reduces Medi-Cal costs. New hire reporting helps the child support program locate parents, establish wage withholding orders, and enforce existing orders. The information is also sent to the National Directory of New Hires to locate delinquent debtors in other states. Note, nearly 30% of child support cases involve parents who do not live in the same state as their children. Reporting new hire or rehire employees, you're going to be using this Form DE-34, and you'll be sending that to the document management group at the address on the screen, or you could fax it to 916-319-4400. The link is also provided. Independent contractor reporting requirements. For service provider or independent contractor, you're going to be reporting the first name, middle initial, and last name, social security number, address, start date of contract. If there is no contract, use the date that payments equal $600 or more. Amount of contract, including cents, contract expiration date if applicable, and ongoing contract. Service recipient, for business or government entity, you're going to use the Federal Employee Identification Number, or FEIN, the California Employer Payroll Tax Account Number, Social Security Number, and the service recipient's name, business name, address, and phone number. Reporting independent contractors. Use the Form DE-542 and mail it to Document Management Group, the address on the screen, or fax it to 916-319-4410. The link on the screen is where you can get this form. If you need assistance reporting, new hire and independent contractors can contact the Taxpayer Assistance Center Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 888-745-3886. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Michelle. A lot of great material. Now, let's go back to the panel for a question. Megan, do you got this one?
I've got it. Are any of the counties participating in the eNIMSIN?
That is a great question. So the eNIMSIN is the Electronic National Medical Support Notice. So there are two documents that are sent out electronically, the eNIMSIN or the EIWO, which is the Electronic Income Withholding Order. Currently, California is not participating in eNIMSIN, but if you have enrolled in EIWO, you will receive those income withholding orders electronically. If there is an employer that has enrolled in the Electronic National Medical Support Notice process, there are two states that are currently participating, and that is Nebraska and Virginia. So those are the two states where you would be receiving those eNIMSINs from. That's a great question. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn it back over to Regina.
Yeah, that is a great question and very informative. Thank you. Now let's turn it over to Lisa Camacho, a child support specialist too from San Bernardino County. She's going to be talking about updating employer information. Lisa?
Hello, my name is Lisa Camacho. I'm a child support specialist too with the County of San Bernardino Department of Child Support Services. The next information we're going to go over is updating employer information. How to stay connected to California Child Support Services. If your phone number, fax number, or address have changed, please update this information as soon as possible. If the company has changed its name or has added DBAs, please include these as well. If the payroll contact person has changed, please update that as well. Some employers switch payroll companies altogether. If you have switched payroll companies, be sure to update as soon as possible. These can be tricky because some of these payroll companies require new income withholding orders to be sent to them. If health insurance plans or carriers have changed, then please provide updated information along with medical cards so that the employee's children don't go without coverage. Employer Resource Center. This link provided will take you to the Employer Resource Center on the state website. This is where you'll be able to add or update your employer information that we discussed. Additionally, if you haven't already, this is where you can set your employer up to receive electronic incoming withholding orders. This can save you time and money. It also allows the children to receive support sooner rather than later. Update employer information. From that Resource Center page, you will see the blue bar on the top left of the page. This button will take you to the page where you can enter all of your changes. Update employer contact information. Here is an example of what the form looks like. As you can see, some sections are mandatory to complete. So even if you are simply updating just the company phone number, you may still have to enter the required fields, and this will ensure that we have your most updated information on file. There is also a subscribe button at the bottom of the page that you can check if you would like to receive tips, information, employer newsletters, and other helpful features. After your changes are entered, hit the submit button at the bottom of the page. Stay connected. If you are not making any changes to your employer information but would like to receive tips and newsletters, you can also subscribe on this page by entering your employer name, employer email, and hit the subscribe button. Employer events. On the same employer resource page, there is a link for upcoming employer events, which has information about upcoming workshops that you can register for if you're interested. Employer FAQs. The FAQs page includes the following categories to help you understand and navigate the child support garnishment process. It includes income withholding orders, electronic income withholding orders, state disbursement unit payment options, reporting new hires, terminations, national medical support notice, and updating employer information. Ways to contact our office. Contacting our office is pretty easy. There is an employer services line that can be reached directly at 1-888-898-1743 or by calling our general number at 1-866-901-3212 and prompting for the employer line. The link below will connect you to your local child support office. Thank you for your time and attention in this presentation.
Very informative. Now, before we get into that Q&A session, we have saved the best for last. Sabrina Demise, Senior Child Support Specialist from Riverside County. She is going to go over the State Disbursement Unit. Go ahead, Sabrina.
Hi, my name is Sabrina Demise, and I will be going over the State Disbursement Unit. California State Disbursement Unit, or SDU, is a single payment processing center for employees to send child support wage withholding. Reason for creation: simplify payment submission, improve accuracy of child support records, and disperse speedy payment to families. Federal law requires that every U.S. state have one central location which processes all child support payments. Employers are required to direct all payments to the SDU. California SDU state and county functions: centralizes payment processing, collections, distributions, fund allocations, set up electronic payments, non-4D customer service, and expert pay for employer. Employers remit all California child support payments to SDU. Include necessary employee identification such as employee name, social security number, CSE participation number, amount, date of withholding, and the Child Support Enforcement or CSE case number. SDU timeframes: begin withholding within 10 days. Send the amount withheld within 7 days. Notify the issuing LCSA in writing within 7 days if the employee is no longer receiving payment from you, receiving disability, or is currently on leave. Payment options explained. If an employer has more than one employee with a child support obligation, the payments may be combined into a single check. Include the following information for each employee: employee name, independent contractor name, child support enforcement or CSE case number, employee social security number, date money was withheld or the pay date, the amount withheld for each employee, include a company contact name and phone number. Employees who fail to withhold the amounts as specified on the IWO may be found liable for full amount of the support owed plus a fine. Benefits of electronic payment options. Employers are encouraged to send the payments electronically. These transactions are faster, more accurate, and less expensive to process than paper checks. If an employer pays taxes electronically to the Franchise Tax Board or FTB, or the Employment Development Department, EDD, then the child support payments are required to be sent to the SDU using the Electronic Funds Transfer, EFT. Expert pay for employers. Due to regulation changes from the National ACH Clearinghouse Association, NACHA, the State Disbursement Unit is required to make changes to the SDU payment portal for payments made via a bank account. The SDU's current bank account payment option, ACH debit, will be going away, and ACH debit payments will now be submitted through the Expert Pay platform. Expert Pay. This allows you, the employer, to maintain employer data and facilitate the federally mandated payment of child support payments withheld from the employees. Submit child support payments to the State Disbursement Unit via the Internet. Save and maintain payment information for quick transactions. Create separate payment groups. If you have more than one facility in the state, you can create separate profiles for each facility. And if you are registered more than one bank account, you can use different bank accounts for different profiles. Expert Pay getting started. In order to use Expert Pay, you would need to register and set up your user ID, your bank account information, and payment groups. Users will also be able to submit payments using their debit or credit card and PayPal accounts through the Expert Pay platform at cost to the remitter. The current process for using credit card via SDU website, IVR, e-payment link, CSE link, and e-payment call center remains intact for customers at no cost. Details are on the Expert Pay website listed below. ACH credit payments. Automated Clearinghouse ACH credit. Use your own payroll software to send automated clearinghouse credit payments similar to direct deposit utilizing CCD Plus or CTX formats using the standard child support addendum segment. The CASDU Electronic Help Desk is here to help answer any questions by calling 866-901-3212 option 1 or send us an email at this email address listed. Employment payment options are listed online. Phone number, check by mail, or by using Expert Pay. Phone number is 800-403-0879. SDU contact information is listed here. And now on to the Q&A section.
Thank you, Sabrina, for all that wonderful information. We want to thank all of you for the great questions that you have put in the chat so far. Now it's time for our Q&A session. Let's turn it over to Angela and Megan. Aren't they great, our experts?
Thank you very much, Regina. So we do have another question. Is there a number or a website we should visit if we have an employer-related question in the future, or local child support office, or the state? Which one? Go ahead, Megan.
Thank you. So you would want to contact your local child support office, or you can give us a call at the 866-901-3212. And it looks like we have another question. If you have a monthly incentive, does an employer here have to respond? Sorry. looks like I need new glasses. If you have a monthly incentive, does an employer have to report a lump sum amount each month to child support services? So, yes, you would have to report it to us and we would issue a lump sum garnishment. I believe you had more to add?
Yes, you can also report a lump sum or a bonus payment on the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement's Child Support Portal, or you can reach out to the Lump Sum Response Team at lumpsumresponseteam@dcss.ca.gov, or give them a phone call at 916-464-6640. And looks like we have some more questions. If an employee was interested in opening a child support case, what should they do?
So they can visit their local office, they can go in and fill out an application, or they can do so online. And then it looks like we have a last question. Do we need to provide the employee with all 4 forms, even if the insurance cost is going to exceed the 5%?
That's a great question as well. The employee has the burden of proof to show the cost of the insurance, even if it exceeds 5%. I'm going to turn it back over to Regina.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, panel, for your answers to these great questions, and we appreciate you. Now, we want to hear from you. Here is a QR code for a survey. Please help us with your input to continue to make this informative and beneficial workshop for you. The survey will be sent also via email. Thank you all for joining us today, and I hope you got some useful information out there in this workshop. Please visit our websites throughout the year. All of our counties are having some great information and resources for everyone, including you, employers. We will see you next year for another amazing workshop. Remember, you are not alone in this process. We at the Southern Inland Regional Collaboration are just a phone call away for all of your questions. I want to wish you, and all of us want to wish you, a great and safe holiday season. Thank you and goodbye.